They're great people. They're all in that law enforcement family of ours. We don't want to be critical, but we do have to learn. That's the hard part about it. Everything's a teaching moment that we get better for the next time.
Absolutely. Commissioner Hartnett, there was a huge problem here with communication. And one of the problems maybe is that the Secret Service doesn't want to give maybe their radios up to the small police departments. The way to solve that is to have a Secret Service agents with the police that are covering some of these spots. So, because they a full 2 minutes, they saw this guy up on the roof and they're yelling, gun, gun, gun. If that could have got directly to the snipers, perhaps, and also for Secret Service on the stage to get the president the hell off the stage, get him out of there. There's a guy on the roof with a gun, a full 2 minutes. That is a horrendous failure of communication.
Yeah, and I'd like to think, in this day and age, I mean, Pat knows as well, the radio technology that's out there now throughout the country, the interoperability, as they call it, where you can just change a channel and talk to somebody from the adjoining police department or a federal agency. So I'd like to think, and I'm hoping that they all did have the same frequency. They were on the same frequency. But I think the communication breakdown is more about, like, we go back to the rooftop. And again, now it's coming out, again, maybe it's a rumor, but now it's coming out that they didn't want to put anybody up there because the roof was sloped. But, it's not sloped that badly. And the counter sniper team were on a roof that had an even deeper slope. So that's not going to hold water. But, there's simple solutions. Again, Monday morning quarterback, and it's easy for me to say it, but simple solutions like that are, there's those movable skywalk towers, whatever you call them. You roll them in on a trailer, you put them up. They're like a little pillbox on a tower, something like that, right in front of that roof. You could put a counter sniper team in there. There's cameras in there. There's bulletproof glass in there. It's a perfect thing to put in front of something that might be vulnerable to your site and to your protectee. So again, easy for me to say it now, but something like that probably should have been thought of in the pre-meetings. And speaking of pre-meetings, again, they're very thorough. Whenever we had the president or the Pope or the Israeli prime minister or any of these other people come in, and also unpopular dictators from around the world were coming to town, and we know there's a lot of people that want to kill them, we would have meeting after meeting after meeting to go over everything ad nauseum. And I'm sure there was meetings going on about this. And the stuff about they asked for more detail and they didn't get, that's all, again, rumor, who knows. But I'm not sure how big that detail was. It seemed like there was a lot of people. And I have to commend, even though it was a little sloppy, I have to commend the people that did jump on President Trump and get him out of there. Arguably, I would like to see him get him out of there a little quicker. But, you can't deny the response and the heroism of those young men and that one woman that jumped in there, I mean, without even thinking about it. So my hat's off to them. But again, there's a lot of questions. And one more thing, I know I'm going on here a bit. We talk about how we learn from our mistakes. The bad guys learn from our mistakes. We talk about the second shooter. Bad guys look at this and they say, look what happened. And look at the delay. Let's make the first shooter like a suicide guy and let him go down. Let him be the diversion for the real attack. So that's the kind of thing that they study all the time. So they'll be watching this, and they'll be watching these future sites and events.
Well, Commissioner Hartnett, no doubt these guys were very brave, and they're willing to lay down their life to protect a president or a former president. But it did appear pretty sloppy because as you say, if there was a second shooter, Trump was a dead man because he was exposed to the crowd for, even if it was just a few seconds, it was much too long. Phil, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that Commissioner Hartnett said it exactly right, that they do deserve props, that they put their bodies on top of his. However, they didn't get him out of there quick as we would have liked. But I did remember hearing in the first day that this happened, there was communication. You could hear one of the agents saying, shoot us down, shoot us down. So that may be why they took a little bit longer. But again, secondary shooter, very, very dangerous. I have a feeling, because I know from previous experience, there was a site survey done at this location. Perhaps there's a picture of that, like from the sky, of that building where they may have it marked off that should have been covered. And for whatever reason, I think she was throwing it to the local law enforcement. I saw a local police officer today, a sheriff, I believe it was, saying that we only had traffic detail in the area. So she, when I say she, it was the head of the Secret Service, Cheadle. She was saying that law enforcement, local law enforcement was supposed to be covering that building. They decided to do inside the building because of the slope. But that picture you have on the screen right there, Bill, you can see that's almost a flat roof. That's a very small pitch on that roof. However, when you look at the building where the snipers were, the red building, right underneath the American flag, the pitch was much higher and the snipers were there. And thank God they were able to take the shooter out when they did. And obviously there was a fatality, Corey Compitore, and there were 2 other people shot, David Dutch and James Copenhaver. Just a shame that anyone else had to lose their life over this or be injured. I just feel like I'm sure that somewhere in the planning, this building was marked off that it should have been covered. How it wasn't is I guess, going to be determined. But I would like to see what that investigation reveals. The site survey, the advanced team, they had to see that building and they had to realize that that was a vulnerability and it's not covered. We talked about the circles, the inner perimeter, the outer perimeter. That was right in there. I mean, like they said, it was a cheap shot, an easy shot for someone with that type of a rifle that had a little bit of experience. There was talk that he was on the shooting team, but he didn't make it or whatever. But he obviously knew how to use the rifle, and very lucky for us that former President Trump, turned his head when he did, or else we'd be looking at a much different picture.
This is from Law and Crime. I just want to play a little bit of this.
It is a horrifying and tragic crime that will go down in American history. The apparent attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump that left 1 dead, 2 injured. What we know about this reported shooter and how on earth could this have happened? We bring on law enforcement expert and former sheriff's deputy and SWAT team member, Chad Ayers.